Showing up. It's funny every time I think about showing up. I'll talk to friends and just about different things. And you ever notice you got people, they show up for what they want to show up for, right? They show up for what they want to show up for, or depending on who's going to be there or not be there, then that's when they'll show up, right? And just briefly wanted to talk about this because, you know, not for anybody in particular, but just the fact of being a man that shows up. You know, I remember before I ever had a kid, right? And it took a very, 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 very long time, right? I must have gone to 13, no, not 13, probably 1,522 baby showers, at least 555 first, second, or and third grade parties without a kid in hand. You know what I mean? At that time, I didn't even have a nephew or a niece to take, right? So it was just me showing up as your homie because I love you, right? Showing up. There's another thing also about showing up. The person that's showing up typically is a person that doesn't make a lot of excuses. Now, when I'm talking about showing up, of course, you're going to have people, that aren't, as close to you that, you may say, hey, look, it's not that big of a deal if they don't show up. So I get it. But so I'm really talking more about to the core of the groups that you may be in, and also to, whether they be business alliances or just personal alliances, right? But the thing is, show up, because I know even being in hospitals or being incapacitated in any type of way, right? The biggest thing for a person is to have people show up, right? Because you hear a lot, especially in you hear, yeah, well, I just kind of wanted to remember the person the way they were. Now, hey, listen, if you aren't close to the person like that, totally understand. Because, hey, guess what? Who likes going to funerals, right? I don't think I know one person. Well, actually, I think I do know one person, but he's a really good guy. And shout out to my man Jeff. He always is going because you know what he likes to comfort people. Of course, people he knows, comfort them and makes them feel at home and makes them feel like, because he's a real big guy, 6'5" guy, and he really makes people feel like, hey, look, I've known you your entire life, even if he's only known you for 5 years. So that's something really special to him. But just the notion of showing up. Think about the guys or think about the people that you know in your life that constantly show up. Now none of us has 100% show up rating, but I'm talking about high 90s, maybe 90, maybe 9 times out of the 10, you can expect this person to show up. And check this out too. Depending on what it is, if you can't show up, at least get a person a gift card. At least do that. Because, a lot of times I'll hear just different excuses as to why, and you know how it is, with friends or people that may not be a friend, that, you hear say this kind of stuff. And it's not necessarily giving them a pass, but it's just like, all right, well, if that's the way they do stuff, they do stuff. Have I made mistakes and not shown up before? I sure have. That's why it behooves me to be a better person to make sure that I show up now. Right? Because the guy that's showing up is typically the guy with no excuses or fewer excuses. Right? Have you ever done something? Because I used to say this even party promoting and stuff. Without people, there's no party. Right? So, you'll get the, oh, well, I couldn't show up because I ain't had nothing to wear, or I couldn't show up because, my hair wasn't done, or I couldn't show up because, I couldn't find a sitter, or I couldn't show up because, because, I'm gonna get back to you and let you know why I can't show up. So show up. Show up for people. Show up for friends. Show up for family. Because there's not a lot of time, right? There's not a lot of time. Even if you're in your 20s or 30s, you know what I'm saying? You just never know. You never know when the time is. But guess what? You do know that you can prepare yourself to show up. You do know that you can say, hey, look, this is my homeboy, this is my homegirl, this is my aunt, my uncle, my whomever it is. Show up. Because ultimately, we all want somebody to show up for us, right? And not only do we all want somebody to show up for us, inevitably, we're going to need somebody to show up for us. Need. Not want to, but need. Be that kind of guy. Be the guy that says, you know what? Not only am I going to be there, at all, I'm going to be there on time. Let's actually try that one, right? Where it's like, I'm going to be there because you know what? That's my brother. That's my sister. That's my friend. This is a person that I care about. This is a person that I like being around. Because when you don't show up, and you'll get varying opinions. Some people, it's not that big of a deal to. But then you start getting this kind of thing on you. Well, you know what? They ain't going to show up anyway. You know what I'm saying? Not expecting them to show up. Even with family members, we got to make sure that we show up because time is ticking, right? A lot of us don't have grandmama around anymore or grandpop or certain people in our lives, especially after you get past a certain age. Once you start getting into those 40s, 50s and everything like that, stuff starts to become real, right? And you start thinking to yourself like, whew, man, geez, thank the Lord I woke up today, right? You start being one of those. But when it comes down to showing up, it's saying something deeper than just, I'm coming to support this person. It's saying that the integrity, the insides of me as a man, as a woman, that because of my allegiance to you, I have no problems doing the right things by you. I have no problems. And sometimes we can't show up, right? Sometimes, hey, look, it's a booking dispute. You got other things going on. We totally get it. I'm talking about the people that are down in the 60%, per 60 percentile that don't show up. So those people that they might come, they might not come. Maybe they'll be there. Maybe they won't be there. Right? But then, you got yours that always show up. And that's how I want to end. We want to focus on the people that always show up. Because you know what? The people that don't show up, you ever been somewhere and the people that don't show up, you'll have them asking, well, where's such and such? Well, where's such? I used to be guilty of doing it. Well, where's such and such? Well, where's such and such? And you know what that kind of does in a little bit to people, because I felt this before, it diminishes the feeling of the people that did show up. Why would you do that? So let's appreciate the people that show up for us. Let's appreciate them. Let's say, hey, look, I love you. Or even if it's not that deep, thank you for showing up, because we're all going to need support. We all want support, right? We all want to feel like, hey, look, that's my guy over there. Because what happens is that, when you go back and start looking at the memories, when you don't show up, and I'm not talking about if you're having like a beef with somebody or whatever, because in some cases that's understandable, right? But how you be on good terms with people and still don't show up, right? How you still be thorough with people and still don't show up? So, hey, Next time you get invited to something, you don't have a scheduling conflict, and somebody, it's your folks, it's your man, it's your whoever it is, show up. And if you can't show up, show out. Give them a gift card. But hey, until next time, live life. Don't let life live you.